whatever it is in this life that's going to bring the most amount of hope to the everyday areas of life to our listeners. And excited about doing that this season. Welcome to the Hope in Real Life podcast with Jason Gore. Our team is passionate and committed to bringing you more hope in the everyday, real areas of your life. If this conversation and content is valuable for you, please do us a favor. Like, subscribe, and even share. You never know how valuable it could be to share a little bit of hope with someone else. Let's get the conversation started. Well, what is going on, Hope in Real Life family? We are here to kick off season 2, and I am here with my friend, with my brother, Wade Harris, also known as DJ Wado Radio. DJ Wado, you ready for season 2?
Jason, I'm beyond ready for season 2, man. I did not sleep last night because I was so excited for season 2. So thankful to be here, thankful to provide people with some hope and just talk about what we got going for season 2, man.
Yeah, I can tell you. So for you as the listeners, just so you know, I actually called Wade last night. I guess it was probably about 8:30 or so, just to check in on him. And I could tell, man, that excitement was going. You're ready to rock and roll for today.
Well, you also caught me in the middle. We were having this deep conversation with the family as well. Yeah. That's the time for another time. But
are you suggesting that maybe you could use some hope in your parenting areas?
Absolutely, absolutely. I always need hope there. So, but it was good, man. I mean, I think what we're getting ready to do in season 2 is going to be such a encouragement for our listeners, and I'm just excited to be a part of it, man.
Yeah. Well, so in between season 1, season 2, we had a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Some of that, most of that was on purpose, just to kind of evaluate season 1, to hear from the listeners, kind of recalibrate for season 2. Why don't you just talk to the listeners a bit? What have you been up to since the last time we've been in the studio?
No, it's good. So the last time we were in the studio didn't look like this. So we actually have a new studio. Yeah. So there's that. But obviously, we also listen to some listener feedback. And so I think what you're going to see in season 2 is we have fine-tuned what we're doing to be more streamlined. And also we've added some team members to the team, some people full-time, Haley and Elena, and that's probably the biggest addition to what we've been doing. And so just, again, excited, man. But what about you? You know, this has been a little, you know, it's a little break with the summertime and all of that. I know sports is a big thing for you as well, so...
Yeah, a little break in the studio. I don't know that I would say a break in life. But, man, you know, I mean, I think we're heading into the summer when we wrapped up season 2. So we had a little bit of downtime with the family. Every year we try to get to the lake at least for a week or so and spend some time together. Kids are growing up way too quick. And so, so that was nice. We're also, I mean, personally, man, we're doing some renovations at our house.
Wow.
And so I don't know, you know, if I've got any listeners that have ever gone through that.
Okay.
But that is not a relaxing time.
No, not at all.
Our contractor's great. I know he's a listener, so let me say that. You're doing a phenomenal job. Let's keep things under budget and ahead of schedule. No, but then, man, but on top of that, and some of this will probably come out in this season personally, we've actually gone through some really difficult family things. And, you know, you can read, do people read newspaper clippings anymore? You can read articles on the internet.
Apple News, about, Apple News.
You know, the mental health and the climate that it's creating for people in their lives, and then you can go through it, right? And we've been going through it in a pretty intense way, and so that's been challenging. But you learn to find hope even in the midst of that. So that's been going on, and then you know, I'm sure most of our folks know I also serve as pastor for a church. So we've been putting a lot of energy into the fall and what that means, what are different ways we can impact our community, come alongside of our school systems, provide support there. And then we just finished up a series that we put a tremendous amount of energy into, A King and a Kingdom, and just recognizing, man, in this world that we live in, there's so much craziness going on. What does it look like to actually thrive and live for the right things in the midst of everything that's been going on? So, man, it's been action-packed, but happy to be back in the studio and ready to get this season kicked off.
Brother, it doesn't stop. I don't see how you do it all, man.
Got great people around you.
Amen. So I want to start here because obviously this is the start of season 2. And people are probably tuning in and saying, what can I expect in season 2? Why should I tune in? That kind of thing. And so I just want to give you a chance to, I think, just share, you know, just some overarching thoughts on season 2 and what can people expect.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end, we talked about this in season 1. We all know, but if there's one thing that I think the world could use a little bit more of right now, it's hope. One of my mentors, Ray Johnston, he's said, I don't know how many times, but as a leader, one of the most important things that you can do in your life is make sure that you stay encouraged.
That's good.
Because if you're not encouraged, you're not going to have what it takes to be able to move, to motivate, to compel, to lead, to serve others to the ends that they're actually trying to accomplish in their life. But then knowing, I can focus on that for myself, but knowing, man, there's a lot of leaders in the world as well that need that hope. And so I think we just kind of refined, like, what does it mean for us to really serve that community? And I don't just mean like a business leader. I mean, like, a mom is a leader in her home. A dad is a leader in their home. Every single one of us, even if we don't have a family, we have to lead ourselves. And so what can we do to provide encouragement for others so that they can actually have the hope that they need to be able to move forward in their life? And so just an opportunity to really refine, what does that conversation need to look like in the world today, right now? And so we've just been looking at, like, what are the types of questions, or what are the life circumstances that our listeners find themselves in. And we know there's a lot of people out there that are really just looking for more, that they know that everything they're experiencing right now is not everything that there is. And so what can we do to speak to the person that desires to be more than they are, that desires to be further down the road that they are, not just for themselves, but also for the people that are around them in their life? And so I think, one, defining who the individual listener is so that we can add the most amount of value. And then secondly, taking a look at what are the specific areas that they need to be spoken into to find the hope and the encouragement that they need.
That's good. That's good. What areas? I mean, obviously I know them, so this isn't for me. If I didn't know them, we'd have some problems.
Right.
Obviously I know them, but I think for our listeners, what are some of those areas that will be kind of hitting this season?
Sure, certainly, yeah. So the first is this idea of holistic health. I was shocked at the amount of feedback that we got out of season 1, where we just said, hey, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're physically, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually, which we're going to take that one out as a whole separate category, but you're not going to have what it takes, to be able to contribute to others. And so we're going to spend some time digging deeper into each one of those areas. What does it mean to really take care of yourself? What are some different areas that I've found personally? We're going to be bringing on some other guests to be able to speak into those areas. Secondly is relationships. And so whether that's marriage, whether that's dating, this was a big one that we got a lot of questions on, just friendships. I mean, how do we build friendships in today's world where we're constantly on the go, where quite honestly, we've gone through a time period where just true face-to-face interpersonal interaction doesn't happen all the time. And so how do we build friendships in a world that's just rapidly changing? So relationships. The third is areas, career and finance.
Yeah.
Just recognizing, man, people want to grow. And what does it look like in today's world? I mean, used to it was you go to work at a company and you stay there 30 years and get a gold watch and retire. At least that's what I hear anyways. And the landscape's just changing. And so what does it mean to be able to be a value add to your organization, but also to be able to make sure that organization is also moving you in the direction, or how, and if it's not, then how do you personally take that on yourself? And which is, there's a spoiler there. We've got to take a little bit of ownership of our own growth and make sure that we're moving in the areas that we need to. And of course, the finance side goes along with that. How do we set ourselves up to be vibrant in this world as it relates to our finances? Because if we get behind in some of that stuff, it is hard to be hope-filled in a place of debt. And that's about as honest as I can be with it. Last two categories. Fourth, we're looking at leadership. And this is just this is everything from leading yourself to leading your family, to leading in the organization that wherever you might be working, maybe it's leading in the community. Wade, I have the humble privilege of serving in different areas in my community. And so what does it mean to lead? What does it mean to lead and to serve even when you're not in charge? And so we're going to be digging into some of that stuff. And then lastly, and this just comes out of who I am, who you are, but what does spiritual health, spiritual vibrancy look like? And I know some of our listeners are probably going to lean way in and like, thank you. We want more of that. And then some of our listeners like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just here to have a little bit more hope. And so that's all right. I think we're going to be able to speak to that and add some value there as well.
Absolutely. I mean, that spiritual side is a big part of why we have that hope. I think we have some clips from season 1 that I'd like to share and kind of give people some perspective of some of these topics. And I just want to get your reaction to some of these, Jason. And so this first one is in the area of mental, emotional, spiritual, physical health. We call it MESH. And so if we could play that clip, Rhett.
The reality is, if we're not healthy in life, then we're not taking care of ourselves. We have no ability to really care for others around us.
Mm-hmm. That almost sounded like what you just said 30 seconds ago.
Well, the good news is I believe it. And so that just kind of comes out. First of all, I would like to ask, for those of you that are watching the video and not just listening on Apple Podcasts, driving down the car, who is that bearded guy?
I mean, you got a different look right now, Jason.
Every time I have the beard, I think, I love the beard. And then when I don't have the beard and I see the beard, I'm like, what in the world was I doing? But we're probably only a couple months away from growing it back out.
But let's be honest too. We were filming in the winter. So you get a little husky in the winter because you want to keep the face warm. So
yeah. I just speak to that though. I mean, gosh, for whatever reason. All right. And I know everybody's got a hard life. My family, we've just been through some stuff. And I do believe that God allows some people to go through some things so that they can get to the other side and then be able to say to other people, hey, look, I know, I get it. I've been there. There is hope. We can make it through. And so I think that's kind of my lot in life to some degree, and I humbly accept that. But I will tell you that I have learned along the way that if you're not taking care of yourself, man, it's next to impossible. You just run out of gas. If you don't have the energy yourself, you don't have the energy to give to others. You don't have the hope to give to others. You don't have the encouragement to give to others. And so, we have, there's a guy on our staff that I recently said to last week, and he's like, man, I just felt like my life is completely out of balance and I don't know what to do. And I'm working as hard as I can. And what am I supposed to do? And I don't think I can keep up. And I told him, I said, I think the best thing that you can do is to take your first 20% of your time, like whatever you think your hours are to give to things outside of your family, and give that 20% to yourself. And you need to write down, like, what do I need to do physically to make sure that I'm checking the right boxes? What would leave me encouraged in my own life if I saw it happening physically? And write that down. What do you think you need to grow? Where do you think you need to grow mentally? How are you doing emotionally? Terrible. Okay, well, I'm not going to really be able to help you with that. You probably need to spend some more time in therapy, and that's fine. So if you need to speak with a counselor, like, log that. That's 60, 90 minutes a week. That's okay. But you need to give the first 20% back to yourself to make sure that you can actually add value with the last 80%. I don't know if he said it or not, but I think Abe Lincoln is credited for saying, like, if you're going to cut down a tree, if you've got, I'm going to make up the numbers, okay? But something to the effect of, if you've got 4 hours to cut down a tree, spend the first 2 hours sharpening your saw. And that's what that is, man. We got to take care of ourselves.
No, that's real good. You mentioned emotional health. That's a huge topic in the culture right now. Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of books being written, podcasts, all those different types of things. You said something in season 1, though, as it relates to how we handle conflict and emotional health, that I'm not sure people always think through. And if we could roll that clip.
How we're raised can just have a huge impact. When we're talking emotional health, we're talking about things like, how well are we handling conflict?
Sure.
How well are we setting boundaries in our life? We can actually use God to run from God.
When I hear that clip, one of the things that sticks out to me, you didn't say the word, but you start off with saying how we're raised. I think about the traumas that we have, right? Like, I was literally having a conversation with my mom last night, and we were talking about how we define ourselves, right? We're both reading the same book, and we were talking about how we define ourselves. Like, what's the moment in your life that when you think about that moment, that's how you view yourself, right? for most people is rooted in trauma. And that trauma is impacted by how we are raised. And so I love that quote. Like, that's probably one of my favorite moments from season 1.
Yeah. You get a little older, of which I'm like, I think maybe I'm on the cusp of like, I'm not a kid anymore, but I'm not as old. My good brother Jay Jennings is in the studio here with us right now. He's got 1 or 2 years on me, but but I have lived long enough to to be able to look back and be like, man, the lens of which I saw the world through back then, where all of your adults, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, everybody's a superhero.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get to a point and then you look back and you're like, you know what? They were superheroes because they were going through a lot of the same stuff that I am, and they were doing the best that they could. And sometimes being a superhero is just doing the best you can with what you got. But man, we're all broken too.
Yep.
And so you just go through some brokenness that, man, if you don't deal with that, and if you don't recognize how it shaped you, how it's impacting you, and that quote, we use God to run from God. Sometimes we can just say, hey, I'm just going to turn away from the trauma. I'm just going to turn away from the feelings. I'm just going to turn so that I don't have to engage something that's hurt. And we act like that's the most spiritual thing to do. But honestly, what we really need to do is to go back to those areas of brokenness and invite God into that so that we can find healing. And I'm early on that journey. I won't be the one when we're really talking about it to be the professional voice on that. I'll be the one asking the questions. But it's just something that I'm learning, man. It's something that we've got to deal with if we're going to actually find the hope in our life that we all want.
Well, part of it, Jason, is when we don't talk about it, we actually give power to it.
Yeah.
Right. Like I remember there was a struggle that I had when I was younger. I was in my 20s, and some of you may say, aren't you still in your 20s? No, I'm not. But
just turned 30 last week. Right?
Just last week, man.
Yep,
just last week. But I had this struggle, and I remember going to a pastor friend of mine and telling him about it, and he was just like, man, you should just start talking about it with people. And I was just like, you know what it took for me to talk to you about it?
Right.
And you want me to start talking to other people about it? But he told me something that always stuck with me. He said, man, if you don't talk about it, you give it power and you make it bigger than God because it feels like God can't heal it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think all of us have to take the step that you're taking and having those conversations about whatever it is, the trauma, the drama, the issues, the hang-ups, the mess that we have, and invite God in to fix it. And I love it, man. And resilience is a word that, again, used a lot in the culture right now, particularly when we're talking about mental toughness. But there's another clip from season 1 that I think adds a little bit more context than what most people in the culture are actually talking about. If we could roll the clip.
Like, I love the word resilience, and I hate the word resilience.
Yeah.
Right? I hate it because every marketing campaign in the world right now is using resilience, right? And so everybody wants you to buy a T-shirt. Everybody wants you to get a coffee mug. They would say something like that at the beginning. It's the ability to understand and believe that you can and should push yourself beyond what you believe is comfortable or even survivable. That looks good on a bumper sticker. But true mental toughness is and then doing it. So
I love that, man. I absolutely love that because most of the time we don't want to commit to doing it. That's the tough part.
Here's what's funny about that. So when I have talks like that with people, I'm glad that you love it. Here's what I find. And I'm learning too, right?
Yeah.
I'm learning how to communicate well with people so that they, telling people something is not necessarily communicating. I think if you're really trying to communicate, you're trying to move someone towards something more healthy, hopefully. But what I've found is some people love that. And then some people don't. Some people don't want to be challenged on whether or not they're doing what they need to do to move things forward. And look, I'm all about extreme ownership, and so when I really lean into that, like, why don't people want to hear that? I think there's some degree of, you got to admit, like, maybe you're not doing everything that you could do. You got to be willing to step out of your own comfort zone a little bit more than maybe you want to. But at the same time, you've also got to realize and a lot of people right now are tired. A lot of people right now are hurt. A lot of people right now are broken. And it's like, man, I got out of bed today. All right. And I didn't know a week ago if I was going to be able to say that. And that could sound extreme, but those are like real conversations that I have. And so having said that, I stand by the clip. I think we need to be challenged. I think we need to be encouraged. I think the real challenge, even for a guy like me, is how do you say that and help someone understand it in a way that doesn't seem overbearing, that doesn't seem like too much, right? And then, when we talk about hope in real life and how do we grow as leaders, leadership is helping people move down a road in a path of which is moving down the road, but it's also a path of which they can sustain over time. And so having said that, man, the world could use a bit more resilience right now.
Here's the thing, though. I'm thinking through all the stuff that you said just in this podcast, right? Sometimes taking a step to doing it starts with writing it down.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's like the step is, okay, ultimately we want you to do it. We want you to do it long term. But it's like, man, if you can write it down, I mean, we're believers. We believe the Bible. Write the vision down and make it plain.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? So last clip I want to show. We talk about the hope that we have and why we have it. I think this clip is a little longer than the others, but I think this clip encapsulates it in so many different ways if we can run that clip.
We should live obediently by knowing Jesus, his word, and remaining in him. All right. We should connect intentionally with others in community. So we need to, I think of our faith, Christianity is like, there's like a fire, right? If you've got logs spread out in the fire, it's probably going to burn out. Yeah. Right. But if you bring the logs in on top of each other, it's just going to burn more brightly. Like you need to be connected with other people if our faith is really going to come to life. We need to serve selflessly. Yeah. Those who are in need, whether you know it or not, you were made in the image of God. God is a giving and generous God. And so we're not going to experience life unless we're serving other people. Honestly, the way that Jesus served us, he was willing to lay down his life for us. That's good. Say we should give generously back to the God who gave us everything, and then we should be sharing willingly the hope that we have in Jesus. And so if you're following Jesus and you're looking to grow in your faith, what does it mean for you to actually live out that faith, even to the point of being able to share him with other people?
I love that, man.
Yeah, I think, and we talk about that in terms, which basically that clip right there was basically the punchline for the series that we just wrapped up as a church. And that is I do believe those are key marks of someone who really is following after Jesus, that is growing in their relationship with Jesus, which is what I believe brings me hope and ultimately brings all of us hope in our lives. But man, I'll tell you, if you want to know that you're living out your purpose in life, you need to know, what is it that you are living obediently towards? What are you giving yourself to? Because it needs to be something. If it's not, if you don't have purpose, you're not going to have hope, period. So you've got to know what your purpose is. Connecting intentionally, man, I think so much of the world is set up to isolate us, to make us feel like it's us versus the world, to give us, hey, these are the two opinions that you can choose, and you need to choose one of them, and then you need to be against something else versus knowing no, who's for you and who are you for? Having a group of people that can rally around you and support you when you're in a difficult time, but also hold you accountable to the things that you said you were going to live obediently to help hold you accountable to the purpose that you do have in your life. Mention serving, man. If you're not serving other people, goodness gracious, what are you doing? I mean, you might build your own kingdom for a little while. That's a lonely place to have a huge kingdom all to yourself. That's not what we were created for. That's not when we're going to ultimately experience life. The same as it relates to giving generously, and that's not just finances, right? That's time. That's talent. We've all been given talents and gifts. How do we give back to others to support others? And then, sharing willingly. I mean, again, this podcast is an opportunity for us to share the hope that we have And I know for me specifically, it's like, man, if I have hope in this life and if other people need hope, then I'm going to do everything I can do to find a way to share that with other people. That's what this whole podcast is about. And it's so crazy. You can build your own things. You can accumulate your own things. But man, you want to know when you actually find hope is when you have a purpose that's outside of yourself and you're willing to share that with other people.
Of those, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. I hope you don't get mad at me. Of those 5, which is the hardest one for you?
Oh my gosh. The hardest. Can I not just all 5?
All 5,
right? Depends on, you know what? It probably depends on the day. But let me put some thought to it because I don't want to just give you, this might surprise you. I think it's the connect intentionally.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Man, so
that was not what I was expecting.
I assumed that it would surprise you. Leadership is a lonely place.
That's okay.
And it's twofold, man. Sometimes you just you know what? Sometimes I don't want. Sometimes or more opinions. It clouds my thinking. Good. It clouds my heart.
Yeah.
You can. I'm telling you, if you're not, I feel like I can have like this mountaintop experience with God, and then come back down and sit down with a group of people, and then like, if I'm not careful, I'll leave more confused than when I came in, and that was not the intent. And so there's like, man, I just want to know. I just want to keep this to myself. I just want to deal. And so, having said all that, that's not what we're created for. And when you bring something, if you do think you have something from God, there's other people that, you know, are living out that same purpose with you. But at some point, you should be able to wrestle through this stuff and then come out unified. And so there's a refining process that comes from that. And again, it goes back to what I said, just because it might be easier to not be around those people, it doesn't mean that that's not what I should be doing. So that's a part of it. I think also, I was going to say I'm a guy. I don't want to just make it to where only guys struggle with this or all guys struggle with this. I don't necessarily want to talk about how I'm feeling. And so sometimes it's easier to stuff that mess down and stuff it down and use that as a fire to move towards whatever it is that I want to move towards and not deal with it, right? And that does work for a little while. It does. And
it's going to come out at some point, though.
That's right. And at some point, I don't care if you're David Goggins. At some point, you run out of gas unless you've got other people alongside of you to pull you down the road. And so if you don't know who David Goggins is, you can Google that. But I don't always support all of his word choices. But I do support his mental toughness.
Nah, so that's kind of an overview of what you can expect for season 2. Obviously, we've been booking guests, Jason. I don't know if there's, you want to speak to that a little bit because that will be a little bit different from season 2 to season 1. We'll have some more guests, some people that I think you'll be excited to hear from. So.
Yeah. Let's not reveal the whole guest list just yet, but I will say as we relate to specific topics, as opposed, season 1, most of it, a lot of times it was you and I talking about it, and we brought in a few different names. During this season, we're kind of taking a step and bringing in some more subject matter experts to have some conversations with. And then that's more of the long-term vision even for this podcast. And so we're going to have some folks here locally from our community in and around the Triangle, different business leaders, some different thought leaders in and around the Triangle. And then there'll be some episodes where we're bringing in some folks from around the country. So lots to look forward to.
Love it, man. Anything else you want to touch on season 2?
No, I mean, you mentioned the team. I mean, this is something we started with a vision at the beginning of last year, and we said, maybe we can probably reach the most people the fastest with a podcast. And actually, it started with this idea of an app, right? And it's like, okay, that's cool. We don't know how to build an app. But we got some people that know cameras. We got some people that know microphones. You've done a podcast before. Maybe we can, the quickest runway to getting in front of the majority, a larger amount of people is a podcast. And so that kind of led to the podcast. And then we said, okay, and some of the people that, again, are here in the studio now were like, hey, we should probably plan this out a little bit more. And to some degree, they were probably right.
Definitely right.
And then, but then how I'm wired, it's kind of like, hey, you know what? Let's just go, and we'll figure it out along the way. So I think we're in a better spot now than when we started. I'm excited about season 2. But I think at the end of the day, it's coming in this morning, and just reminded of this passage in Romans. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. And whether you believe in praying or not, or thinking or working hard to bring something to life, that's the heart behind this podcast, is that we would labor, and that this team that we've been able to build. And you mentioned, Elena, you mentioned Haley, Rhett's obviously in here. We've got some other folks in here bringing this thing to life. And that we would give our best hours to be able to elevate whatever it is in this life that's going to bring the most amount of hope to the everyday areas of life to our listeners. And excited about doing that this season.
That feels like a mic drop moment if I ever heard of one. No, I'm excited too. Welcome to season 2, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Hope in Real Life podcast. If this content was valuable for you, don't forget, like, subscribe, share. You never know how important it could be to bring a little hope into someone else's life. There's even a place here for you to comment. We would love to hear from you and hear your feedback. Until next time, let's keep sharing hope.